So you guys have heard me say this over and over again, but I will not stop until it lands in your ear, because I know once you get it, no matter what you're going to do, if you're in the health and wellness industry / fitness, then this is what's going to be the difference between you not being extremely successful and you just being an average individual. And I know you're not average, but even making it to the highest level with all of the talent in the world requires a process and a blueprint. So no matter what you think about yourself, don't get down on yourself. Just understand, today we're going to show you specifically what the people who are in the larger companies get to learn that you don't have access to get their companies moving like this if you're an entrepreneur, and especially if you're in the health and wellness industry. Because once you understand the basic line items of growing a company, then you'll be all right, because guess what? You also have a talent and you have a unique ability. Now, when you couple that with a blueprint, then everything starts to just simply be easy to you. And that's the mark on this thing right now, is it's so easy that we overthink it. And I've been guilty of it before as well. Woke up this morning, couldn't decide whether to have turmeric, ginger, or lemon peel or ginger. I didn't know. And then you have to get to a place in your life where you're going to start being decisive, because what you teach and what you do it matters to this planet. So I'm going to help you today kind of go directly into who is it that you're working with. Because one thing's definite: if you are thinking you're going to work with everybody, you're working with nobody. And that's one of the key factors. We call it the key point indicators. And the key point indicator is, what do you measure your optics of business growth on? Entrepreneurs, it doesn't matter if you're teaching people push-ups. It doesn't matter if you're teaching people how to do yoga. It does not matter if you're teaching individuals how to just do squats with a weight machine or CrossFit. You have to keep it simple. So today I'm going to break it down. Why aren't there enough people coming to you? That's the conversation. Audience and operations are the two components to business. And so we're going to take a deep dive into it, just a couple of minutes. So if you have a couple of minutes to spare to grow your business, and stop chirping and bouncing around all over the social media platforms, trying to get that one nugget that's only going to throw you off further, and take time in a classroom setting and learn what you didn't know. Before I get started, I'm going to share something. The minute that you had your first job, there was a manager there, and this will bring perspective. You saw that manager doing a lot of different things than what you were doing, and you respected that role. Why? Because they were making 5 times what you were, and they had a different skill set. The minute you decided to become an entrepreneur, coach, trainer, life coach, whatever lane you chose, automatically you become a manager. Automatically, now you're this person that you didn't know what they did before, but now you're that person, and you're pretending to be that role. But you have all of these things left out, because a manager makes sure that things are checked off the list and that the goals and things are being set and met. But if you're waking up and that's not your case, then you're not a manager yet. What you are, or someone that's working in the business and not on the business. So let's get into it. Before we learn, how do you know exactly who is it that you are working with? There are a couple of questions that you have to ask yourself. And when you ask yourself these questions, it'll take away all of the anxiety. But before I get started, for those of you who have never watched this page, shame on you. Boy, you are late to the dance. My name is Eric A. Bradley, coach, that is. and I teach boxing. When I first started out, but now I coach coaches on how to operate their businesses, because we've accomplished the goal of making 7 figures not only in the gym, but we've learned how to do it outside of the gym, which is utilizing the internet, marketing, 5 pillars. And when I did that, I knew that I had to rinse and repeat it so that someone else can do it. So I'm also an author, and the author of 30 books that actually work, because there are over 1 million people currently now that follow us. Now we are making sure that they understand that this is all about process and not what they've actually experienced this morning. It has nothing to do with you individually. It's all about us learning. So that was my tenure. I put 4 decades in the game, and I was under some of the greatest boxing minds and coaches and leaders that the world has to offer. And I won't take any credit further than that, but I will give you the knowledge that I know. So if you will receive it, let's go. How do you understand how to operate under the 2 pillars of knowing exactly who it is that you're working with? First, you need to know what problem are you actually solving, which you guys have to hear me say that 1,000 times. Because once you hear me say it, you'll start feeling it inside. In the 3 forms of mastery: cognitive, meaning when you hear it the first time or the first 10 times, it's just cognitive. You know it exists. It's awareness. And the second is emotional. When you've gotten the ego to argue about it as if you actually know it, but you really don't, but you think you do. That's emotional mastery. You can spit it back out, and you can talk about it, argue about it, bet on it. But that doesn't mean you have number 3. And number 3 is physical mastery. And physical mastery is when you can do it in your sleep. You do it so much that you can't get it wrong. That's what makes this all unique. Some of you have watched enough video on all over the platforms and reading articles and novels, great books and things and literature, but that's giving you 2 phases at max, which is cognitive and emotional. But to get it into yourself physically, you have to actually do it. So therefore, we have workshops that we do so that you can get that repetition, and I'm going to challenge you. So no further ado, let's discuss how do you know, and what are the 2 questions that you need to ask, and how do you know exactly who you're working with? All right, let's just say, for instance, I'm in the health and wellness industry, right? But if you're teaching something like CrossFit or boxing, and you're in the health and wellness / fitness industry, you have to know how to separate them. And how do you separate them? First and foremost, if you're in health and wellness, those are internal scenarios, meaning I lower your blood pressure, I keep your anxiety here, I help you eat so that there's not a lot of inflammation in your body. That's health and wellness, free of disease, minimizing free radicals. That's how you put that in that category. Now, if you're a fitness specialist, I teach you how to get stronger. I teach you how to run faster. I teach you how to look shredded like an athlete. I'm all about optimizing the human body on the outside. So, from those 2 descriptions, this is where you can start to find out which category do you fall under. A lot of our guys in the boxing industry think because they teach boxing that that's a category, but that's a tool. CrossFit uses kettlebells, but that doesn't mean CrossFit is kettlebells. It's a tool. So the boxing gloves and the skills development are tools. So how do you know what bucket do you fall up under? First, what problem is it that you solve? Now, here are the 2 sentences that you can ask yourself. I help blank experience blank without blank. Okay? That's the moment that you can fill in these gaps, you'll start getting on the right page. I help women over 40, obese women over 40, lose weight without strict diets and hard exercises in under 30 minutes a day. Okay? So what does that do? It keeps me from trying to save everybody. And it helps people who are riding by my facility or coming across me on Google. It helps them understand what problem that I solve. So if you're speaking to everyone, boxing trainers, MMA trainers, fitness coaches, you're talking to no one. You can't fix everyone else's problem. And if they can't figure it out, the number one way to not get new customers is to give them confusion. So don't confuse your audience. Be conscious that it's important that you know what you specialize in. So is it weight loss? All right. And if you're going to speak, then that sentence was basically for fitness. Now, if you are someone who's into the category and you're finding yourself helping people that have more wellness issues, health issues, I help people with high blood pressure get off of medications without strenuous work in under 90 days. You get it? Like, you just preface what outcome you give them. I give you the ability to be relieved from high blood pressure without strenuous work in under 90 days. My system is proven. That's all I've done. Time in and time out. You give me a person that has a serious wellness issue, and I'll give you an answer. And I'll give them a result. The only thing they have to do is commit. All right, so these are the practices that will help you understand what audience you're targeting. So if, just say for instance, if I'm a boxing coach, this would help you. Maybe you're not great at weight loss because you've just done it for techniques and skills and self-defense. But guess what you have learned to do? You've learned to reduce anxiety for people, help them overcome stress. So I help overworked, stressed executives reduce their stress level utilizing boxing in a 30-minute program that lasts 90 days. So that they can have a peace of mind and stress-free. So you'll find yourself having wordy sentences, which is fine. The thing about it is you're getting to a place where you're on the right track on what it is you do and who you serve. So who is it that you serve? Are you a weight loss specialist? Are you more mental health, stress and anxiety, depression? Are you really confident in yourself in dropping people's cholesterol levels based on the nutrition component that you have tied to your program? So you think about riding down the street and there were 10 gyms, right? How do you want to pick a gym? Based on what it looks like aesthetically on the outside? Or do you want to pick a gym based on the outcome that they offer? Because if you need to lose the pud, you got a high school reunion to go to, or if you got an event to attend, you want to look the part. Because maybe there's a pool party tied to this thing. So you want to make sure that you're cut down to the bone. So maybe you want to go to a gym that specializes in belly fat loss. So guess where I'm going to go? I'm going to go to the gym that I know specializes in losing belly fat. But if I want to tone up and just look muscular, I want to go to a place that maximizes or really can give me a guarantee that they know how to develop my body and sculpt me. I had a program called Body Sculptor. And maybe that's what that person needs. So if you have that, that's where I'm going. Boy, but if you're stressed, anxious, or if you got competition coming up, then maybe you're someone who specializes in competitive athletes. So if you have that, and that's what you do, I don't work with anybody else. I only focus on developing competitive athletes, giving them better agility, and we call these the program mediums. More speed, quickness, agility, range of motion, explosiveness, all of those things. That's what I focus on. And if that's the case, I'm not going to the belly fat gym. So make the people's choice easy. Fall into a category, because if you're trying to train everybody, you're training no one. If you're talking to everybody, you're talking to no one. That's when you can get to your page, because the first time a person came to do my page and audit it, they were like, I don't know what you do. You know, I see this, I see that, I see that. So if I come here, I don't want to follow. Even though we have good content, people do follow. If you don't have a real robust social media, that won't be the case. And you won't get people coming to your gym or your business or your practice if your page isn't clear about what you do. Does that make sense? I'm just saying. We just want to be on the same page. We want to make sure that you guys understand that talking about doing something and doing something, having an expertise, and just being a commodity, which is everybody, you're the same as everybody. That's the problem. So we have to get that down first. Who is it that you are focused on? Our biggest thing is to make sure that we teach you guys. Tomorrow, we're going to have this discussion through a live stream in our group, right? The School of Boxing. You can go over to our group for tomorrow's training. It's called Top Trainer Program. School of Boxing. You can go up to our stories and you can find it there. Go there, and when you're filling out the entry to the group, just make sure that you are from our Instagram or our YouTube audience, and you're coming in for the live stream on how to get quick cash real fast for your class. That's going to be, you know, kind of how to monetize your class fast. That's what we're going to go over, and that's operation. So we're going to teach you immediately how to do this thing in a campaign form, 5 pillars of marketing, but going directly to the customer that you need to come into that place to grow your audience quick, fast. This is what we call the quick fix, because we're going to actually go through this with a current gym owner that's in our course, and we're going to basically have that conversation mano a mano so that we can take his gym further than what we have already, upwards of 40% in gross margins. And we're going to take it to the next level, because now we're at a different phase. And when you see this happening, it's going to be very enlightening. So if you want to take part, make sure you go up to our stories right now and put yourself directly into the School of Boxing group over on Facebook. So if you don't have an account, create one, because tomorrow it's going to be well worth your time. So first, think about exactly who is it that you work with. Let's get that down. Let's be clear. I work with people that go right through those protocols, and that's where you'll find yourself comfortable. So if you're ready, let's get it ready, and don't play around. People are looking for you. Let's make sure they find you. If you want people to find you, tune in tomorrow in the School of Boxing group. We call it the Winner's Circle. So that's all I got, Coach Bradley, and I'm signing out. I'll see you soon in the Winner's Circle group. Go to our stories and join us tomorrow. It's on us. Peace.